Frankfurt is one of our biggest events that we have. It's the first big stadium event that we had in Germany. It's the third time we're now hosting it. So it has a pretty big history as one of the biggest Dota 2 tournaments in the world. Build up for this is usually a couple of days. We do have the biggest screen ever seen in esports here. It's 550 square meters, so really giant. Will be enough for everyone to see all the games. We're expecting a really great tournament. For a lot of the teams, it's about getting an invite to the international, so they really need to perform well. And they will show their best Dota here to prove that they are worthy of getting that invite. We see it as a festival of Dota. We don't just see it as a tournament. It's a place where everyone can get together and meet some friends and get together with them and talk about Dota, meet the players. So the one thing that we hope for and what we've seen in recent years and hope to repeat this time is that this is just one of the biggest Dota festivals in the world, and everybody will go home and tell their friends that this is the best time they've had at a Dota 2 event.
All right. Check. Check. Ready? Check. All right, here we go. We are up for our second semi-final. Leute, mach mal Lärm! I speak German now. It's because I drank your beer. I feel it. All right, let's do this. Our second semi-final. Oh my God, you guys are a great crowd. You make beautiful Lärm, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get this started. Wonderful noise. Our first team for our second semi-final, we have NaVi. Here they are hype. Yes, flex it. Dandy's flexing the muscles. Who else will be flexing? Here you go. Making their way. They are hyped. They are ready for their second semi-final. Second fifth semi-final for the day. Here we go. There you have it. Team NaVi! Their opponents. Give it up for Vega Squadron! There they are, feeling the hype. Very nice, sir. Making their way down. I love your shorts. Very nice. Beautiful, beautiful. Vega Squadron! Let's get this started. Team NaVi! Team Vega Squadron! Our second semi-final here at ESL One Frankfurt. Let's do this!
Okay, semi-final number 2 on the way. Draft number 1 of that semi-final is just around the corner. Ben, what are we expecting?
As Vega mentioned in the video, NaVi are sometimes a little bit random. Sometimes Well, I think like the captain doesn't exactly know what his players want, and his players doesn't exactly know what his captains wants, and this is why you see like one hero here and there that just doesn't fit in with the rest of the draft.
Yeah. And Paikat, if you were the coach right now, and we sent you in behind NaVi just before they started the draft, what would you be saying to them?
Guys, go first pick patch. Art style, go chain. We go push. Go push, nothing counter push. Just go. There is no stopping push. This is how we play Dota.
I can't cope with it anymore.
He can go on all day.
Yeah, I know he can as well. That's the weirdest thing. I do love you, man. How do you do so many accents?
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Yeah, I quite like your Milk as well, but Milk's the real Milk, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he has actually coached. What would you go and say to the Vega boys right now
Actually,
as a coach?
Back to the Milk is the real Milk. First time I heard Paikat do that, I was questioning when I said that. I was listening into a cast and I was like, huh? How are they getting this recording? Where's this from? I've never said that. I didn't know Paikat was sitting there mimicking me. What I would do with Vega?
Yeah.
I just continue playing like they have. They are in the semi-final. They won their group stage. They should feel pretty confident in what they've been doing so far. So, no, I don't think it's necessary to change anything just yet. I want to see how game one goes, and then either team should make adjustments accordingly.
Okay, we're into draft number 1, and we have a Darkseer, a Wisp, and a Void band so far.
I think Tinker might be a hero that these teams are going to want. Both.
Yeah, no one put up a great Tinker.
And I think it works well against... For Vega, it works really well against what NaVi does. And I also know that NaVi like to play it every now and then.
Yeah, I had a few of their drafts questioned yesterday. They'll be looking to make sure they don't make the same mistakes again today. Disruptor.
NaVi's turn.
So we saw yesterday how NaVi rated Beastmaster as their primary pick against complexity, and for good reason. So that Vega picks it up first pick is no big surprise. And then NaVi makes the same opener they did yesterday that I was really excited about because it's such an aggressive opener. But that was also the lineup where they were all over the board. It was we discussed on the panel how it was one of the worst lineups we'd ever seen competitively. Bambo said that he would prefer them to have just all randomed instead.
Yes, he did.
And it really did seem like that.
So they must know something. They must have felt like, well, okay, we had the right composition, we just didn't do the right thing.
Watch them do the same lineup and completely demolish them. That'd be interesting.
Well, you see the Disruptor ban from NaVi. Disruptor is one of those heroes, when you play Batrider, it's very annoying to play against that Disruptor, so I think they already had this in mind, that this BM is gonna be picked up and then they're gonna get the bad bounty hunter.
10 seconds remaining.
And there's not gonna be a Disruptor there.
Yeah,
Vega do have the Avenge for the swap, so you can break the lasso, but...
Yeah, pretty quick for picks.
Do you think this is a Dendy Batrider or offlane Batrider?
It's an offlane Batrider, I'm pretty sure. General plays that hero all the time.
They've run it a lot, though. We always think that it's going to be an offlane Batrider, and they're like, okay, we'll just put it on Dendy, and then they just get crushed.
The reason they like picking this Batrider, and also early, is because you can put it anywhere. Putting it, mid lane or off lane, you leave the draft very open, so it's very hard to read what they want to do with it.
I really hope they learn from yesterday and let General play it and then have Dendy do something else.
I agree. So NaVi, they're banning a lot of stuff that Vega used during the group stage. Disruptor was kind of their first pick support. They also went off the back of FN Alchemist. I think he had over 1,000 GPM.
They could go for the Axe Slaughter combo with it and then put General on the Axe and then the one position Slaughter that we saw them run with great success. That would actually convince me because they can put out so much aggression and keep on fighting throughout the game without being... they don't have to wait for ultimates or anything. They can just keep on fighting. They have some tanky heroes. They can keep frontlining and then earn a lot of track gold.
10 seconds remaining.
Then I would like to see Dendy on the Batrider, but only then.
5 seconds remaining.
I think it's a little too early, though, for like a Axe/Slaughter. You want to see what the other cores are, because they could easily just put the Beastmaster in the 4 position if they wanted to, and draft non-melee cores, which X struggles a little bit more versus. What do you think about Lifestealer not being taken by any of these teams, or banned?
Well, I think both teams like playing both with Lycan and Drow Ranger. Especially Lycan, both these teams play it a lot. And already now they have heroes that are quite decent at dealing with the Lifestealer. I wouldn't be surprised, even though, having that said, I wouldn't be surprised if we see NaVi pick it up.
The Lifestealer?
Yeah, I mean, it's very good with the Batrider, it's good with the Bounty Hunter.
Do you think Vega will pick up the Drow Ranger? Because already NaVi has a lineup that can easily punish a hero like that.
It's pretty scary to pick up Drow Ranger here, but I know that they do like to run it. It's also the Clinks is another hero that they like playing. Also very scared to play against both Batrider and Bounty Hunter.
Slark as well, I think it's pretty good versus both of them.
Slark might be an option for them, for sure. It's good against both Bounty Hunter and Batrider.
And Vision.
Yeah. And Tinker being taken out here by NaVi.
Trademark Sonaiko.
Yeah.
Chilling.
I can play anything.
Just pick me Sand King 5th.
When you kill people with level 1 Sandstorm,
NaVi,
then you know what's up.
There's the Lycan. Banned this time by Vega.
So, considering they can run the Batrider on both offlane and mid lane, and they can run the Slardar on both offlane and safe lane, I don't think that pick would be too bad now.
Remaining.
Are we expecting to see another Chen?
Mind you, they are on Dire side.
They are on Dire, but it's still going to be pretty hard for them to kill Roche, seeing as they have this bounty bat. And there's going to be the Hawk on the Vega side. I think you could pick it now, but I would rather have them wait with it. If they're going to pick it, they might as well pick something like a Dazzle right now, and then they could go into it later. It would kind of help them secure their safe lane, seeing as they have a Bounty Hunter. It's also pretty good against Beastmaster and can grave the target who gets gone on.
There is still the lifesteal as well. Oh. Shadow Shaman.
Vega squadrons turn.
We saw Artstyle put up a good performance on that as well yesterday.
Yeah. Much preferring on that than the Chen they've been using.
Yeah, definitely. I think Chen is like Vega Squadron. They only have 2 of their heroes shown right now, and those 2 heroes are very good in push. You mentioned the Drow, the Lycan has been banned out, but they could still easily push NaVi. If you have a Chen, Batrider, or Bounty Hunter, it would struggle heavily versus that. Shadow Shaman.
I don't know if Vega, do they play Terrorblade?
Reserve time.
Has it done it at all?
No.
I don't think so, right?
I don't think I've seen it.
Yeah.
No, I think the thing is with them is that having not been at the major, they would have been practicing some other stuff. Very difficult to figure out what they might like right now. And in terms of pro games, yeah, it's only really recently TV's kind of come online, particularly here.
I like Vega's
just
position
towards the
right
end of
now
the major as well.
in the drafts. They have, it's very open for them. They can pick pretty much anything they want.
Wow.
They're gonna keep it open.
Okay.
NaVi's turn
Vega
to
can
pick.
still go anyway with this. They can go into push or late game. They can run a Beastmaster in the jungle still if they wanted to. Kind of hard against the Bounty Hunter. Still possible. Maybe not recommended.
Had a very underwhelming performance at the
10
major.
seconds remaining.
16% win rate.
Yeah.
5 seconds.
But they can go into a
remaining.
lot of different carry heroes.
Yeah, the puck is very
Reserve
weak these
time.
days.
Yeah.
We've seen
And there's nothing in the patch, was there, that really gave...
So the thing is with Puck is nowadays people pick pretty much only mid heroes that can scale into late game. Even a hero like Batrider, because he has the lasso that goes through VGB, scales better than a Puck. Because he can also soak up a couple spells. Whereas Puck, you die once with this hero if you have a lot of kills. You give up so much gold.
Yeah. So do come back for the Slider, 4th pick.
NaVi's turn to
Yeah, you could see Artstyle expected that.
Yeah. Instant Slark. Final 2 bans, final 2 picks.
So a support pick.
Yeah.
That's it.
Support pick for
10
Vega.
seconds remaining.
Might go into some double. They could do. They're one of the teams who
5
like to run
seconds
Lich
remaining.
and Dazzle as well.
What about
Potentially
Enigma?
see them run. Yeah, Enigma wouldn't be bad at all
Reserve
either. I think
time.
it's kind of difficult to deal with a Bounty Hunter, especially when you have event support. I think a secondary just straight up support could be nice for them here.
What's interesting about these two teams is that neither of them seem to put a lot of weight on the typical hard carry
Vega
positions.
squadrons
Yeah.
turn to bat.
They don't bolster up on late game.
Yeah, they don't
They'd
because
rather just fight.
yeah, they run at each other. See who's stronger.
It's a really good Phoenix ban.
10 seconds remaining.
Yeah, Phoenix would have been a very good hero for Vega.
5 seconds remaining.
Yeah, with all their disables and of course the coil from the puck.
Reserve time.
So you're looking at just a standard support for Vega's last? Just
They could
Shocker
run
Dazzle,
something. They could run some semi-greedy support, some Night Stalker Doom, something along those lines. But
Yeah.
Kind of don't want to do it. I think when you play up against a hero like Bounty Hunter, you just want to solidify your lanes. You just want to have strong lanes so the Bounty Hunter doesn't really have anywhere to go. And then he kind of becomes useless. And then pushing can be quite efficient against the Bounty Hunter as well. Yeah, Abaddon.
Oh my god, I was like, oh, Abaddon versus all these debuffs.
Sure you were. Sure you were.
Thanks, Milk. But I was like, there's no way they're going to pick it.
Very good against the Bat Rider, Slaughter. Yeah,
That's a
very
great
good
pick.
last pick.
Well, I was like, okay, Tree is sometimes picked versus Bounty Hunter, but like Tree is terrible versus Bat Rider. So I was like, okay, what's another defensive support they can go for?
5 seconds.
Now he's going to have a real hard time dealing with this Slaga and Abaddon.
And Bat Rider, I think, should definitely be in the offlane position now. If you have him as like a mid, like no matter how many items he gets, he's going to be very difficult for him to initiate on any of the cores on Vega.
It's so hard for NaVi right now because they want to be able to go late game and kind of split the map. But it's really hard because fighting head on versus this is going to be difficult.
Timbersaw? Not too surprising. Then he played a great Timbersaw yesterday as well.
Yeah.
At least it's an offlane bat.
That is true.
I am content with both lineups. I think we're in for a 50-50, depending on how they execute their lineups.
Okay, split down the middle. Let's find out as we head into game number 1 of our second semi-final of the day. Let's find out who takes the first game.
Thank you very much, Paul. Indeed, we're here. NaVi versus Vega Squadron. I'm Eddie Pixel. I'll be joined by Cap and Blitz for this one. We've just seen the drafts. The final pick, Abaddon, of course, from at the side of Vega. The panel seem to love it. Are you guys liking it as much? And how do you feel NaVi have closed this off with the deadly Timbersaw?
I think the Timbersaw actually works really well just because it's good against the Slark. It's okay against the Beastmaster. I guess there are a lot of disables and silences overall, but I think Timber can thrive in a game like this. But I think the Abaddon pick is the most interesting just because of the Slardar in the enemy team. That was eHome's original counter during the Frankfurt Major.
Yeah, I actually really love the Abaddon pick. I think there are very few times where the Abaddon is a good pick in this kind of meta, but there are so many heroes on the side of NaVi that get countered by the Abaddon. I think that last pick actually swings me in the favor of Vega Squadron. I think their draft is a bit better. I agree with Blitz, though, that the last pick of the Timbersaw was good, but I don't think it swings it enough. I think Timbersaw is still going to have issues. Necronomicons, you've got the disables of the puck that are going to be a little bit irritating as well. It's another one of those games, and I feel like I say this a lot, where for NaVi, Dendi just has to have a good laning phase and transition from there and take over the game in order for them to have a shot.
I mean, for you, Blitz, as well, do you feel that in the laning phase that this is going to be an issue for either side? Is someone going to clearly come out on top during the earlier portions of the game?
NaVi's most likely going to come out on top in terms of laning, just because, for example, Slark plus Vengeful Spirit is not a very good dual lane. It has some kill potential against the Bat Rider, but other than that, might be a little bit rough.
Yeah, and there's not the same kind of roaming potential that the Bounty Hunter provides for the side of Vega Squadron. The best they can really do is maybe get more farm from their offlane for Mag than the Bat Rider, because he'll jungle.
The battle begins.
So you favor NaVi's draft or Vega's?
Yeah, I favor Vegas because the Abaddon.
Okay, I think NaVi is going to go ham this game.
Okay.
Like, I'd imagine Dendi...
Is it just because of the draft? Or do you think it's an out draft, or do you think it's just because this lineup is like very NaVi style?
No, I just think they have options.
Okay.
I think their options are a lot easier too. I think this is a pretty great game for Seneko. For example, you have 2 supports, both aren't very greedy, and I find that both should be getting pretty far behind.
Bang on bottom lane. I mean, first blood just like that for Vega, catching out General. That shouldn't happen, should it, Blitz?
No, that was pretty greedy. He decided to go from behind.
Yeah, he tried to do the classic play where against a tough lane, you try and pull it as the Bat Rider from behind and then go through the jungle, but I don't know, where he did it just wasn't quite the play. It was a little bit too close to the Slark.
Dude, I was just describing how NaVi has the advantage, in my opinion, and then General immediately gets first blooded. Come on, man.
General is supposed to be like, General did so well yesterday, too.
Yeah, General, I mean, he's certainly
Surprising.
kind of over the last few tournaments as well. He's always given a really good performance.
No one?
And no one indeed caught out without the all 5 HP. He's actually going to live there, but only just a very, very precarious situation to find himself in. And Seneko nearly being able to capitalize on the fact that he'd already thrown out that illusion.
He tried to go for the counter ward. Like, Seneko dropped his counter and went for the kill on the enemy counter, and no one pushed himself forward, but he was too late. And then he's in close range with the bounty hunter. He'd already used his orb. That was such a crazy attempt at sort of an all-in that wouldn't have resulted in anything. Because Seneko, he's fine with trading counter ward for counter ward, because obviously that still means he can sit there in biz and harass the puck.
If you notice right now what's going on, Seneko is attracting the attention of two different heroes at once. Like, he's messing with the Beastmaster. The Abaddon can't really do anything to kill him. He does have Dust, but kill potential is kind of low in that regard. He's even going to find the regen rune right here.
Oh, that is so good.
And so as long as General has an okay time at bottom lane, like, the overall game flow should go pretty well for them. Like, Dayara doesn't need a ton of farm. He just has to have a somewhat okay laning phase. Then he's going to scale pretty fast. And I'd imagine this game goes south for Vega at the point where he gets his Blink Dagger.
So Seneko actually
had the vision
back.
of him.
Yep, shields out, and Vega will turn back towards the bounty.
They had the boar, and maybe they could have chased him down during the dust timer, but fortunately that's just not the case. One of the big downsides of the event here is that's not a real good offensive hero. Can't punish Seneko getting caught out like that. All he can do is provide the turnaround.
It's still a bounty hunter taking up a long time.
Down bottom as well. Making a jump onto General to get the Firefly. 4 stacks onto Shoma the Slayer, and he will bring down the Venge and get himself out of there. This time, General able to make the plays against this dual lane.
That was very well done by him. He understands that Venge can't really trade hits too much, so she has to rely on the all-in a puck, and I think mid, no one's dead.
No one's dead again? Yeah.
There we have it, caught out when the orb's been already used. I mean, I guess he needs to use it to clean out this waste, but he's got to just be a little bit more careful, Blitz.
Yeah, every single time that you're going to trade hits like that, you have to understand that Seneko, positionally, he's going to see the orb come in, he's immediately going to go for the kill attempt, and that's the biggest thing I was worried about for Vega is you can't really deal with this bounty hunter. Like, the Seneko is going to make or break this game. You notice that has the Abaddon following him around. The Beastmaster was annoyed in the early game. Like, he's still only level 3. Meanwhile, he kills a hero mid. Like, the effectiveness of this hero is really good.
No one just playing it way too aggressively. Like, he should never be using his orb to farm if there's a chance that the bounty hunter's around. Or at the very least, if he's going to do that, he needs Solo nearby. But Solo is now heading to the off lane to try and get a little bit more efficiency out of this and see if he can take over the off lane while Mag is jungling.
I'm just going to try and make a
he's
bit
just
of
going to die.
Yeah, first bit of lockdown, the burst as well. He will get the chance to get the shield out. We'll see if now we can break through it, and they can indeed. They will find themselves that kill. So, as you said, was hoping for some of that free lane XP, but NaVi quick to punish it. Ditchara's game is just going to continue to get better and better. Perfect CS, and now a kill as well.
Blitz, do you think that he should have abandoned helping the puck in the very beginning of the game and just gone straight for an attempt at offlaning?
It's hard because you can't really offlane against them. You can't jungle. Yeah. It's just a weird situation because your Beastmaster is just naturally going to farm out. You don't really want to pull against a Bat Rider either as an Abaddon, so you're in this really odd situation where you don't really know where to soak up XP.
Yeah.
At the same time, like, he had Sentries and Dust. He used both to try to kill Seneko, but you're an Abaddon. Like, he had to level up the Curse of Avernus. Doesn't have boots. Seneko just kind of saunters away.
What about a dual lane scenario with the Beastmaster instead of having him jungle from the start? Because Shadow Shaman is notoriously strong against solo offlaners, but against two heroes it becomes a different story.
Fizzle thinking about this, and they'll go for it again. No one getting caught without the orb, but Dendy finishes it off there with the burst. It's got to be all the third time that's happened.
Yeah, every single time that you use the orb. The thing is, you're going to use the orb to farm. It's just a natural thing, but at the same time, Seneko is there every single time, and honestly, it's just his rotations more than anything. He understands when the puck's going to move forward. I mean, I see this guy play cores so often in pubs that you just kind of get the sense of when you can move forward. He's going to soak up this bottom lane XP as well, and meanwhile, General is almost level 5, so his offlane hasn't even been slowed down at all.
This is one of the real big strengths of NaVi, right, is that Seneko, the roaming support is oftentimes one of the most unstable of positions, just because, like, sometimes you could just plain get unlucky. Even though you make the right kind of rotations, you're just a little unlucky, the hero isn't where you expect them to be, and you just kind of fall out. But Seneko always seems to make it work. He just, as Blitz was saying, he seems to just have this really godly read of what cores want to be able to do in their individual lanes and how to abuse that as best as possible.
Yeah, no one's still level 5, doesn't even have money for a TP. in a position where there's nothing to counter gank either. I'd imagine that NaVi can just continue to farm off of these lanes, and you can't punish. That's the most annoying part, is that you know Seneco's bottom, just soaking up XP, can't punish that. Because they don't really have killing heroes. Like, Abaddon is purely defensive. That's why you don't often see him, because he can't pressure lanes. So there's not a whole lot that Vega can do in this laning phase. They pretty much just have to wait for it to wash over until Navi's kind of done doing what they're doing. But both their supports are getting so much. You've got a level 5 Shadow Shaman, you've got a level 5 Bounty Hunter coming up at just 6 minutes. Where are Vega's supports supposed to grab their levels?
The tank goes to the offlane, that's for sure.
One of the things that is going right for Vega, though, is the fact that FN on his Slark, he is going to have this great opening. And we've seen many games where Slark gets forgotten about. He gets to that point where he's just running around the map with the Shadow Blade, finding those pickoffs and keeping himself ahead of the game. With the draft that NaVi have, is there a reason why they're not focusing too much attention towards the Slark at this earlier stage?
Because they're winning everything else.
Yeah.
Like the Slark is... The Slark is a good carry, but he can only do so much, and they do have a lot. They've got they've got like really long lockdown between Lasso and Shadow Shaman if they catch him without Dark Pack. They've got AoE Disable in Slardar as well as AoE Nukes in the Timbersaw. They have a pretty good lineup to deal with Slark, so they don't have to worry about trying to shut him down in the first 10 minutes. As long as they win the rest of the lanes, it's all good. They'll go into the mid game looking really terrifying, and Slark by himself, I mean, they've got the kind of lineup that enables a Slark between the Abaddon, and then they've got solid disables between Puck and Beastmaster, but he's still gotta have like an outstanding game if he wants to be able to carry it past this laning phase advantage that NaVi have gotten themselves.
Yeah, you've almost got a level 5 Bounty Hunter. He's gonna continue to just be really annoying around the map. Nobody can really do anything to stop him. Vega is just waiting for Mag to pick up. They probably should smoke, go... I don't even know. They can't really kill... Maybe they can kill mid. They can burst them down if they can get no one in position. It's probably their best bet. I don't think going to the enemy safe lane is the play here. Just go mid. It's hard for Dendi. I guess he does have 3 levels of Timber Chain, but you got to go for something anyways. No one's going to try to set up, but he's pushed the lane forward, and Vega's being too hesitant. Like, you either have to go for it now or not go for it at all.
Why is it you didn't want to see them go to the safe lane?
To their own safe lane?
No, to the NaVi safe lane. Why with that smoke rotation?
Oh, because everybody bails out of that lane. Yeah. You always bail out of your safe lane. You notice that the Slark isn't there either. This is just good. It's good play. You leave the safe lane. At some point, you can give it to one of the supports. You notice that Artstyle's the one in the off lane now because he knows he can be there.
This smoke, NaVi closing onto FN. See if they can get the initial crush down. He's got a Dark Pack down to Pounce. Should be able to play his way out of it. And DD Cap, Shadow dances up, and FN's out of that.
What do you think about the Midas? Is this just because of the fact that the laning phase doesn't go well enough? He knows he's got to like hard carry this game that he goes for the farming item in Midas?
I think this is a game where Slark has to do a whole lot. Just because the Puck doesn't really have anywhere to go. Like, no one can farm easily because he's already got people that need to abuse the jungle. That just opens up a lot of opportunities for NaVi to go around the map, do whatever they want. And they're rotating off their lanes really well. General's already got a Blink Dagger if he wants it at 10 minutes into this game. Considering he got first blooded, then this game starts.
They're double blinks. Presuming Dichira is still going to get one. It means that Vega Squadron are going to have a really hard time farming up and getting to that late game position that they want to be in with the Slark.
Yeah, DRL is going to get an invis. He's probably going to head mid, but unfortunately there's already a sentry there.
Top, Vega looked to be prone to try and find some kind of action. General was very, very close to being caught out, but fortunately for himself, moves away from the team of Vega. Vega will be able to get this tier 1 top by the looks of it, unless NaVi can get a reaction up in time. And it looks like Vega, after poking with 4 heroes, just a little bit scared about fully committing. NaVi themselves have 3 towards the mid. Now, Vega, I think they realize that the coast is indeed clear top, so that they will continue on that push. No one backing up. You can see coming down Dichira. He's going to hold back. It's a little bit too deep for him to go and see if he can cut out the Puck. So Vega will find the tower top, and NaVi will just continue to look for the trade.
This isn't really a fair trade-off if you do lose your mid tower. Safe lane tower not nearly as important as the mid tower when it comes to controlling the game. And Vega are going to give it up for free. Maybe it's just because they feel like they can't fight.
No, there's no way they can. They're going to, I think in a straight 5-on-5 engagement, there's almost no chance for Vega to win.
When can they start considering it, right? Because you can't concede we can never team fight them forever. What items do Vega Squadron need?
You don't really, there's no items that you're really waiting for. You're just waiting for opportunities, like when NaVi gets split up around the map. But the problem is when you go for this Roshan, this dire side Slardar, it becomes really hard. Because typically what you'll do is you'll wait for NaVi to settle into a rhythm after they take out a bunch of tier 1 towers. Then they might like farm 2 or 3 people in the jungle. They'll be unsafe, they'll send their offlaner to your safe lane. Then at that point you can maybe get a kill or 2. But with this Roshan, Vega knows that NaVi are in a prime position to go for 5-man. And the map just kind of gets smaller and smaller. This game just pretty much boils down to Vega has to chill, wait for NaVi to make a mistake. If you play proactively and lose a fight, especially against an Aegis Slardar and a Timbersaw that has Bloodstone at almost 13 minutes or something ridiculous like that, the game could just end.
I mean, at this stage as well, 12 minutes in between NaVi and Vega, a game where there's only been 5 kills. Is this something that you would have expected from the drafts? And is this kind of this pace of a game favoring a certain team's lineup here? Was this the plan all along for NaVi to keep control of the game?
I think if no one didn't get abused so heavily in mid, you might have seen a little bit more action. Vega Squadron might have felt a bit more confident to go into fights, but it's just the laning phase went so poorly for them, and their lineup isn't meant to be able to contest NaVi at 15-20 minutes, that they just have to steer completely clear of them. If the laning phase had gone okay, maybe they'd get into a couple skirmishes here or there. They've now got the Blink Dagger on FN, but I'm still not convinced that changes enough. Maybe Mag's Necronomicon? They've also got, okay, they also just picked up their level 6s on their support, so maybe they can try and fight, but it's going to be NaVi who strike first, and the initiation is everything at this point.
Let's see if now we can catch it out. Smoke will dispel onto Jirai. Spots out Mag. The rest of them moving in immediate burst down. Actually dropping the Serpent Wards. Can they cancel solo TP? They can't quite get in range for any of the disable. So Ward's kind of wasted there, unfortunately for NaVi, but they do still find that kill onto Mag. And also worth noting as well, the goal for the Shaman, 13 minutes in, he's got his Blink Dagger done.
Yeah, that's pretty incredible. This Batrider went for Boots of Travel first too, so he's going to have a lot of mobile vision. The way that this game should go now, Owen, is this becomes a dead zone for NaVi. You only send your offlaner to farm that, or your bounty hunter. You never send your safe laner anymore. The main reason for that is it's just not worth Ra getting picked off in that area, whereas it doesn't matter. It's a Batrider with most of his item set. He's not really going to care. You're losing your 3 position, or you're losing your 4 position. So you don't really send anybody else up there. You just send up your offlaner at all times, and Vega just have to respond to it. The thing though is that Vega don't want to show heroes on the map either. Like their lineup is not meant to push out lanes like this. So you just have to smoke aggressively. The one position where they have wards is here, so they're almost immediately just gonna wrap around, because you always smoke to wherever you have vision.
And it will result in a kill on the Batrider most likely, but as
they gotta get there fast.
Earlier, it's not the greatest kill in the world. Maybe with a long-range blink. Yeah, he's got him.
Yeah, they'll jump straight in. We'll see if there's going to be any reaction from NaVi. Any help for General? They'll pop the Raw as well, Vega, making sure that they get away with this kill. And they're just got to get themselves out. And it looks like NaVi realizing that nothing can be done in return in terms of getting kills. So they'll remain down on this bottom lane where they'll move in position to push down this tier 2.
The good news though is that FN, the best thing about having a Slark on your team when you're behind is that when he goes through that area, he can always ping out wards for you and tell you, okay, this is safe now, so you can deward here, here, and here. And it's kind of the best way to play around right now.
We still have some aggressive vision up from NaVi that is giving them some heads up. They can continue to pressure this bottom tier 2. Serpent Ward's just coming up. Means they can easily take it. That's the one thing, is that NaVi are a little bit slowed down by the fact that they don't have very good heroes to push down towers, except for the Shadow Shaman. So ideally, when they're going to try and get into fights as much as possible, but they turn one of those fights into Serpent Ward push.
And this amount of burst here onto the Beastmaster, and Dendy just coming in and smashing in the face of that strength melee hero. Easy pick for NaVi, and they'll continue to push on Artstar. Was trying to see if he could catch out the puck, but he's out back to safety. No one. But 6 for 2, and NaVi finding the towers. Still at the top of their net worth is that Slug, but it feels that he's got a lot of heavy carrying to do this game.
Yeah, you notice that the Batrider is the one, again, to just start heading to that top lane. Because you just can't send your safe laner there. There's no reason, especially with that smoke gank happen. You don't know for certain if Vega just placed down a bunch of wards. So you send General up there, and You notice during the time that Vega went for that 5-man smoke, what did NaVi get in return? They got an objective out of it. They went bottom, they got the tier 2.
And around mid, onto Solo, finding out behind the ult, but there we have no one jumping in with the Dream Call. Aegis will be popped on Dichira with a burst down, no one on the puck. And NaVi, even ready to go for more. Dichira jumps in, onto Mag, Bodic Shield will allow him to turn around, pop the brawl onto Dichira with a burst from Arsenal, the control, gets the shackles, the swap's there, but the shackles persist, bursting front to shove the Slayer. NaVi find themselves another, there'll be a buyback from no one, looking to find something in return, but Arstar blinks up to the high ground, FM follows suit and takes down the Shaman. Now eyes onto Dendy, but he can't go for that kill. They'll have to hold back. So Vega do find a couple of picks, but it did obviously cost them the buyback on the puck for that. And still, NaVi the ones to come out on top of gold.
Yeah, they committed pretty heavily into being able to kill that Slardar who had the Aegis. I think the Aegis was getting relatively close to expiring, but it was still just one of those situations where you're throwing too much. I like his commitment to the buyback, though. That, at least, I can support Vega Squadron. If they can just create in these really chaotic fights, allow FN to be able to get some more kills, and he starts getting closer to that carry Slark that we know is a real pain in the ass past 35 minutes, then they at least have a window of being able to win this game, but they just have to weather the storm for like a full 20 minutes, and that's giving up every single Roshan. That's, as Blitz was saying, you're not really being able to show on map and push down waves really quickly. They just have to kind of continually go for these smoke ganks every once in a while and hope FN can keep up the farm.
I think I agree with you in the sense that you kind of have to wait for your Slark, but at the same time, I don't think waiting 20 minutes when only one hero on the map can farm is...
No, that's why I said they had to get, like, they had to go aggressive ganking, right?
It's hard, though, to gank because the way that their abilities work is they almost always have to commit an ultimate to kill somebody. And I don't know, this is just a rough game no matter what for Vega. You continue to play this game, the pace of the game, it's only the Slark that can push out lanes. You notice even that top wave, they're not willing to risk anybody but FN to push out waves. So then he has to bounce between top to mid to bottom. You have your Blink Dagger so you can do it also while farming the jungle, and it's okay. But there's going to be a point where Vega just should go for it. Like, just go for the 5-man. You can't afford to give NaVi another Aegis. I think at that point, the game becomes really difficult for you.
Vega roots up around the mid. Maybe seeing if anyone's going to try and jump in onto no one and looking to counter it. But NaVi elsewhere. BKB is now going to be picked up by FN, so in a bit of a better fighting shape to jump in, and especially not have to worry about some of the lockdown that NaVi has in the form of Artstar Shaman, constantly with a blink, who's been getting some really good catches in these fights. And it's NaVi with the smoke. We'll see if they want to make a move over into Vega's jungle. If they're going to feel confident enough to do that. They don't have the bat with them. I mean, but for this kind of last 5 minutes of the game, General's kind of been in his own little world. Well, mid lane though, jumping onto Dendy, and General now turning up with the bots. Because of their spaces down, he's got a lot of farm, and he has got the initiation onto Mag. The swap's there, but it doesn't matter. Mag's already gone down. FN starting to fight back though. Takes down Arstar, now popping the BKB. FN just decides to TP, realizes he can't find anything more from this fight. Vega, they've just got to bail, try and keep the rest of them alive. There's a jump in onto Solo. This man already used the ultimate. He's got the Aphotic Shield, will be able to keep himself alive. But NaVi take the 2-for-1 trade nonetheless. And the game continues to get harder and harder here for Vega.
Yeah, it doesn't win the fight, but I do like the choice of FN to pick up that team fighting item in the BKB. He's got, again, like so much AoE damage he's got to be aware of. He can't always rely on Dark Pack to save him from the multitude of disables that NaVi has. So maybe the next fight will go well with the BKB, but for now it's just like the initiating damage and disables was on a Timber Saw that you would never be able to kill, right? And then they had a hard time bursting down Artstyle despite throwing the Primal Roar and Necronomicon at him. The fact that they couldn't kill him in time of the Primal Roar to wear out is an incredibly bad sign for Vega Squadron. Another one of the problems, I guess, with the Aban, lack of damage, too defensive, perhaps.
Gunny playing around with Solo. The ult will be popped. Solo keeping himself high. And in fact, no one comes in with a counter initiation. Dream Coil onto 2. Sineko going for the TPL, will make it. But Dendy, control for the time being with the Magic Missile. Still trying his best to get away. He's all on his own. Vega, the full team chasing him down, but this Timber Sword just too elusive for Vega to control. And Dendy will be able to get himself out of there. I mean, Dendy's been having a great game. 5-0-2, 17 Bloodstone charges. And it just feels like Vega's draft, they just don't have the tools to bring him down.
They should have been able to force him into a Bloodstone suicide there, so he almost still had to swap. He needed to time that swap with the Timber Chain going out, then they would have kept Indy in place long enough where they probably wouldn't have disabled him long enough. He probably just would have Bloodstone suicided, but at least that takes some charges out of him.
So FN has to go... Somebody has to go push out top, otherwise NaVi know that Vega are just in their jungle waiting for the Roshan opportunity. Vega's gonna spot out the ward. They know they've been spotted. NaVi's just waiting in that top area. This is the first time that Ditya Ra has gone to that top side, and it's just because they showed 5 heroes bottom. Like, Vega can't afford to split up anymore just because the Bad Rider Slardar combination is so good. Plus, you have a Shadow Shaman with one of the earlier blinks I've seen in a really long time.
This is rough now because they didn't address that top lane push while Roshan was still down. Now Roshan is up, and Vega Squadron show whatever hero it is that pushed out the top lane. Then NaVi goes straight into the pit.
Hey, NaVi can just flash Dendi forward. You can't burst him down, so now 2 people TP top. You immediately go for the Roshan, then you can even smoke out, get wards, place, start heading mid, rinse and repeat. The downside though is you use the roster wards.
But again, NaVi aren't real pressured for time in that regard. Right, they could afford to wait for the next round of Serpent Ward, still have Aegis. They're not in danger of FN becoming an overwhelming force anytime soon.
I mean, what do you expect FN to be building next after the BKB? I mean, what does it... Okay, so it looks like he's going to go to, what, the route of the Skadi here?
Yeah. It's one of these situations where you really feel for core players just because when you're behind and you're playing a core that has to accomplish so much, you feel like you have to get everything. That you need a BKB, you need a gap closer, you can't go Shadowblade because your team is so far behind and they've got Trek and Slardar's Amp, so it's not super reliable. Like, there's just too many things that FN has to deal with right now, and so much of the game is on his shoulders because Puck is not one of those heroes that magically gets better after being behind for 20 minutes.
I mean, you have to give credit to the way that FN's been playing, though. I mean, he's 2-0-3, involved in all the action that Vega's found, and he's still keeping himself at the top of the net worth board. So, I mean, everything's kind of been laid down for this Luck to have a good game. It's just as you said, because of the losses elsewhere in the team's composition, he's got so much that he needs to achieve and accomplish as this game does continue.
Yeah, you notice that Vega go for the smoke, and people might find this a little bit weird because they just got Roshan, but the majority of this is just all that thought.
Oh, they get the catch onto no one, and they will take down the Puck of the sidelines. Now looking for more. Arsenal being focused by FN. Takes down one. Now looking for more. The control general. That's so Mag drags him across. Tolo brought down. The coil will be dropped as buybacks coming out from 2 members on the side of Vega. NaVi as well getting Arsenal back into the frame of the buyback. FN cleans up a second. Double kill for the Slug. Solo looking towards Teacher Rush. Solo getting chopped down by Dendi Shakrap. FN finds general. They will kill the bat off as well. So buybacks being used by both sides. I believe 2 from Vega, 1 from NaVi. But again, the situation persists where FN is not dying, and he's making a lot happen on this slot.
Yeah, he's going pretty insane right now. This hero is keeping them in this game.
Yeah.
And
I love the fact that they were just like the last time it happened with the Puck where he bought back. Like, I thought that was a good play. And this time around, like, the double buybacks coming out from them, like, they know they're at such a disadvantage that, like, these team fights are their only way to claw their way back in, so they're willing to blow every bit of net worth they have to be able to win the fight. And they traded a gem over to their advantage.
He was thinking about a solo kill. In fact, he's going to have the back of a Dendi. He's flying through onto Shaman, but FN's there on the backlines. Kills off Shadow Shaman. FN maybe looking for more. Swap onto Dendi, but now Vega realizing this is not the fight. They're trying to get out. Eyes onto Shaman the Slayers. NaVi chase down the Venge. Will finish him off. But again, FN adds another kill to his repertoire. It's pretty much just 1k gold away from the completed Skadi. And this slug does continue to get fatter and fatter, but at the same time, of course, across the board, NaVi looking to be the stronger team. And General, oh, that's a big catch. If they can finish off FN, bring it back to the rest of the team, but there's not the initial lockdown. They do still get the Shadow Dance off, but the stun holding in place for the time being. They've got to get FN out of here, and he realizes that himself. Just pops the BKB, makes sure he gets himself back to safety, and NaVi just couldn't get that kill, which would have been absolutely huge for them.
It's okay though. You just have to force BKB charges now. They gotta understand that FN, he has a lot of potential to do good in this game, but at the same time, like, you have to stay realistic and understand, like, BKB charges are running out, and you have to continue to play aggressively.
There's the completed Skadi. Vega Squadron have done a great job drawing out this game, even though they're at, I mean, now that I see the way that it's fully playing out, the Abaddon pick just wasn't I was excited for it, but it just doesn't seem to be a proper hero, and they were at a very distinct disadvantage draft-wise, but I think they're doing a really good job of, like, the backs against the wall. They're at a huge disadvantage because of the lack of like, strategical options that are available to them. All they can do essentially is just push out this game and put the game on FN and say, please carry us, but they are doing a good job of drawing out the game and giving FN an okay shot. FN himself has done amazingly, and just not to die against all these, like, they've got, what, 3 different Blink Daggers?
Yeah, they have got so much catch. But yeah, as you said, FN being really smart the way he plays around NaVi. And I mean, you look at the net worth and the fact that Dendi and FN, the 2 at the top, I mean, the question is, who's going to die first this game? Because, yeah, as we've seen, neither of them getting caught out. I mean, that could be the way that the game finishes. Finally, one of these, you know, Titans will fall. NaVi starting to get the push on in the mid lane. Vega, we'll see how they want to react. They do have the ults available if they see an opportunity to jump in, but at the same time, well aware that there will be the potential for NaVi to counter-initiate. General and Artstar hiding in the tree line, so they'll have to let that one go. Another tower into the back of NaVi. Does that Vega want to come out here?
Yeah, they're going to lead with Solo. He's got the ultimate, so Batrider can't jump him.
Let's see, FN jumps forward. We're going to find him on Artstar, blinks away.
They know the Aegis is gone.
Yeah. That's why they were kind of toying for a fight. Maybe they could catch NaVi slightly out of position 5 seconds before the Aegis is actually down. Illusion. Not the case, though. NaVi playing it rather safe, and next Aegis is probably their high ground push. This is where Vega Squadron, they probably need to get at least one like really good aggressive fight, take an objective or 2, because the next Aegis and Cheese is going to be potentially their death knell.
Vega's gonna go for this tier 1 tower because it's not worth it for NaVi to fight. You can just send your Timbersaw to spam out, but it's important to push out the side lanes, which is what they did. You notice that bottom and top are gonna push in. Deyara has no interest in really helping out mid, just because he knows this is not really where you make your stand as NaVi.
Yeah. You slow down Vega Squadron's progress in taking that objective, but unless you see an opening, you don't commit.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Deyara just continues to push out the side lane. Vega's gonna come in for this tower. NaVi are like, okay, it's 30 minutes into the game almost. Who really cares about a tier 1 tower?
And they still have the tier 1 bottom, which helps them control the Roshan pit, so. Yeah.
Deyara should get out after this wave.
Vega with this double back smoke hanging around. See if anyone on the side of NaVi comes out into their own jungle, but NaVi, they're playing it smart. The whole team back up behind their tier 3s, making sure that they don't get caught out by this movement from Vega. Dendi now starting to move out with the backup of Seneko and Artstar, and Vega still poised on that high ground.
Top tower is under attack.
See if anyone's going to come close enough for a jump to happen. Vega looking for the wraparound, no one. We've got to watch him, see if he gets that big dream call that he needs. Still just on the sidelines. I think they did just show slightly, so pings are there, and Dendi now coming in with a vision with the Shiva's Guard. Will catch out Shoma the Slayer, jumps in, bench is gone. Quick pick for NaVi, and it's all over here for Vega in terms of finding a fight there. They've got to get themselves back to base. Jura continue the chase with Dendi. I want to use the Yours to try and hold back NaVi and allow the rest of his team to escape. So Vega unable to find that opening there that they were hoping for.
It's just a little bit too projected. Like, you have to make a move like that, so I'm okay with what Vega did. But it's just one of those situations where NaVi understand, just don't be greedy. Why push out that mid lane? Nobody from Vega showed themselves on the map, and this is the brilliance of pushing out the side lanes at all times, because when nobody from Vega is defending a tier 2 tower from getting hit, like, where else could they be? This is going to be the safest farm that they could possibly get on the map. So it's a process of elimination kind of thing. They didn't go for the bottom tower, so you know that they're mid, just wait it out.
Radiant's top tower.
It's one of the big strengths of Timbersaw too, is that he's able to, like, they have that information. They just sit back behind their tier 2, chalk them down the waves. We've seen his high ground potential, but even just protecting some of the outside objectives, he is quite formidable. And now Vega Squadron are left to the Roshan fight. They can't just let NaVi have it. They can't just give it away. But at the same time, NaVi do it so quickly that Vega Squadron have to, like, almost in a paranoid way, sit around the Roshan pit and hold that area constantly, which is going to leave NaVi available to split push, particularly the top lane.
Act now with the Blink Dagger, so another route of initiation that Vega can use to kick these fights off. if they do see an opening against NaVi, but as we've seen, just the way that NaVi's been playing, very unlikely to have heroes out on their own, and for Vega to find the pickoffs that they'd look to find with this kind of draft. And indeed, as you said, just keeping control around this area at the pit. Vega possibly going to look to just turn this bottom lane into a push and take down the tier 1 so they have got a little bit more control around the Roshan.
Like to see somebody pick up smoke on NaVi. I saw General holding that branch for forever. Well, all right, that was kind of nice, but he's the obvious candidate. I think NaVi go for this play. You see the line already being drawn, but Vega showing his 5. You know that you're much stronger. You can already see all their items. There hasn't been a lot of progression. This could be the fight where you just kind of stamp it and say, this one's ours, go next. If they kill them, at least 2 heroes, then Roshan is guaranteed. And then I think at that point, Vega don't really have options.
Simultaneously, the odds are against them, but this could be the comeback.
Oh, NaVi with the wraparound. Let's see how this kicks off. Jumping straight away, Dream Cold. Silence on Super Teacher up. Pops the BKB. Crush onto Solar. FN working his way into Sineko. The wards have been dropped. Shona's going to be the first to fall. Dendi on a monster kill mag. Tries to hold the back with a wall, but Dendi moves forward, cuts down another. But at the same time, FN is doing so much in this fight. Looking to chase down Digiraf. Can't quite finish off the slaughter. Armor's only going to keep the man alive. FN looking for Digiraf
So
in
close
the
to each
tree
other.
line. Oh,
Nice.
no, gets the orb on. Finds themselves a third. Vega, 3 for 3 at this point. FN is going to look to come back in over the tree line, potentially. Still hiding now. Starts to tickle away at Dendi. Dendi with the double pieces, throwing them back. General popping him away with the flame break. They've got to be careful. This Slark is incredibly scary. At the same time, FN doesn't want to risk throwing this one away. No one coming back in. Playing around with Dendi. Shadow Dance will be back up in a bit, but FN holding off the fight. And again, I mean, 3 for 3, even trades, but trades where, you know, the Slark staying alive, FN continues to get so much out of these fights, and my goodness, him and Dendi still yet to die this game.
Oh, yeah. That's great for Vega Squadron.
Yeah.
That fight was great because, like, Blitz was setting up the narrative in that, like, that should have been NaVi's fight to be able to take. They had such a big advantage. They like, the odds were very much in their favor. And simultaneously, those big odds also mean there's a very slim opportunity where if Vega Squadron do win that fight, they actually, that's the start of their big comeback. It turns out even, so we don't really see a gigantic swing, but that's still good for Vega Squadron. They stay alive.
I mean, Blitz, yeah, as Cap saying, you know, you're at a 15k gold lead, but the enemy's managed to find an even fight against you. That's not got to be good for NaVi.
No, not at all. More for anything, just morale. Like, you're probably wondering, how is this really happening? Just because NaVi have to sense how far ahead they are. They're playing against a puck that has a 33-minute Blink Dagger and Yules, and he's somehow staying alive, and that's just because they need one of their cores to have lockdown as well. Like, they need a Hex on the Timbersaw or something of that sort, but Dendi's going to go for what looks like the Octarine. I think instead of even going for the Ags, maybe going for a Hex. Maybe they could have probably just killed no one right there. But being alive and being a Timbersaw without any lockdown help makes it really difficult. His partner in crime there was General, who had used everything already, and Ditya Ra, who had no mana and was just trying to armlet toggle.
Oh, blink for blink, nice play.
And Mag just avoiding the initiation from General, but here's that point that we talked about. Roshan up, both teams knowing that this is a high point of contention. If NaVi, you know, can't stop Vega from getting it, Vega is suddenly going to have this momentum that they can use to take a successful team fight. At the same time, we've seen before how quickly NaVi can take it. And for the moment being, NaVi, they're just going to move away from the pit.
Yeah, and this is pretty absurd right now that Vega are holding on as they are, considering this is truly kind of like a single core Slark. Like, this Slark doesn't really have a lot of backup on his side, and his team is doing a really good job of creating space for him in the team fights. Not to say that FN isn't doing a lot as well. Like, he's targeting all the disables, so that he makes sure heroes like Sineko are dead, so they can't run around in the fight. He makes sure that the Shadow Shaman goes down as soon as possible. Once you have that hero out of the way, then all it really is just a waiting game for him.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Solo's done a pretty good job. Like, he didn't get anything done in the laning phase. Unfortunately, that's what led to such a big advantage for NaVi, the event just not being able to do much there. But in these team fights, he's done an excellent job of countering the disables with the right aphotic shields.
If Vega can take a fight here, this is going to be absolutely huge for them. NaVi already half health on Roshan. It's falling incredibly quickly. General jumps in, get the lasso with a
Nice
swap.
counter.
FN wants the BKB, and now Vega, they're going to look to jump in. But Ditra already picks up the Aegis. FN, he's got to find a lock onto someone. Looks back towards General with a crush. They're holding FN in place for the time being. Mag taken down by the Dividend from Dendi. And Ditchera looking at FN, but the Dream Cop on the high ground, no one contending to them. FN jumps back in, will put the Aegis on Ditchera. They've lost 2 permanently on the side of NaVi. FN moving back and around, magic missile from Shiver onto Snake, and FN jumps back in. Looking for the bounty, he's going to find it. Another kill for the Slug. Ditchera and Dendi hot on the chase. They need to do something about this Slug, otherwise the Slug will surely be ready to do something about them. Still 30 seconds without the Shadow Darts. FN needs to be careful. He will get himself out thanks to no one coming in on the backside and just using the Yules to control Dendi and hold the NaVi back from chasing him. So again, NaVi do get the Aegis, but Vega, they find the favorable team fight. So it's an even trade, but the gold is still going back the way of Vega, and still FN Slug. He is playing out of his mind this game.
Yeah, we talked about how he had to solo beast mode this game just to keep everything together, because he was the only person farming on his team at all. You notice that the rest of the 4 were pretty much just clumped up by that mid-tier tier 3 tower waiting for FN to push out lanes, but he is absolutely delivering 806. In a game like this though, NaVi need another form of lockdown, like something more reliable than the Slardar Crush, because Dendi is walking away from these fights with full everything, and he can't do anything. He has all of his mana up, he can keep refreshing spells non-stop because he's got 28 Bloodstone charges, but what does it matter if you can't lock down any of the 2 cores from Vega?
So do you really think Scythe is the answer?
I think somebody needs to get a Hex.
Okay. Even against the Abaddon?
Well, it's after the Abaddon dies.
Yeah.
It's not the problem of the actual team fight, it's when you continue the team fight and you have 2 cores on 2 cores, you would prefer to have a Slark as one of those 2 cores.
Right.
Teasing with them in lane, Ditchera coming in with the jump, Solo pops the Ornament, they're looking for the turnaround, Magic Missile controlling Ditchera, the roll coming out from Mag, at the same time Dendi moving in straight away, looking to burst down the beast mode, but FN, he's already killed Ditchera, jumps onto Seneko, they'll find themselves a second, and FN still alive on the backlash, looking to be eating into Arsenal, this Slark is going crazy, triple kill for FN, finally gets Lasso, but can they kill this man? NaVi, they've already lost 3, FN still looking incredibly healthy at this point, Dendi trying to do his best, he's killed off the 2 supports, but it's that issue where they just don't have the lockdown that you're talking about, Dendi. Looking for no one. He'll use himself up. We need to see FN come back in for Vega. He's looking from the sidelines, maybe thinking about trying to help out this pup. No one. And he get himself out of this. Oh, he blinks. He has the orb. No one playing around it. General will chase him down. Oh, again. Phase shift. No one. Creating a lot of space. Can't get out of that, though. And Dendi will finally catch the puck.
Eventually, the Blink Dagger and Heal Scepter cooldowns were going to catch up to him. He couldn't dodge forever. And I really thought FN was going to go back in there and see if he can get the trade-off, kill General in exchange for the puck. But he played it hesitant, and you can kind of understand why. He can afford to let the puck die. It's not a big deal. NaVi don't get any progression in this game, but it's much more important for FN to stay alive. And now he's completed the Butterfly and just picks up a double damage, too. He can go hunting.
He wants to go and find someone with this.
You see that they have 1 disable on, or they have he has 1 defensive item on the puck with the Yule Scepter, and they still takes forever to kill him.
Good luck. Another kill for this Slug. I mean, FN, if they can catch him though. But the question is, it's a big if. I mean, FN, if he gets too greedy, NaVi, they might be able to punish him, but FN can just afford to do this. Ditchera pops the BKB, but FN pops him. Dendi and General there, but they just can't control the Slug. He's out again. 2 more kills to his tally, 13-0-6. It just continues. Look at the net worth, 27,000 on both Dendi and FN, miles ahead of the rest of the pack. But at this stage of the game, that value, that net worth, it just seems to do so much more on a Slug.
This is so cool to watch, just because you would assume, okay, Vega's in almost a checkmate position, and this guy is just going around the map, solo killing cores by himself, picking off supports wherever they walk. He just killed Diyara, forced the BKB charge as well. Diyara is now down to 7 seconds. Like, this guy is absolutely delivering in this match.
Yeah, there's an innate amount of survivability to a Slark, but still, like, you were facing up against 3 Blink Dagger Disablers for, like, 25 minutes of this match. He should have died at least once by now, but he just hasn't. He's hit all the right Dark Packs. His team has also managed to save him when it comes to the team fights and some of the earlier clutch moments. Now they're actually ahead in this game. Even if NaVi, the metrics are going the way of NaVi, it's the fact that we push this later and later. We've seen the way that the team fights are swinging more and more heavily into the favor of Vega Squadron, and NaVi don't have the same kind of power where they just like win 1 team fight and then immediately take a lane of racks. So it's not even like if they win 1 fight now, the game might be over. It's not even close to that.
It really feels as much as FN's itemization was absolutely bang on this game. The fact that he got that early Midas, then he picks up the blink rather than the shadow play that we've kind of seen most Slarks in this current state of the game opt for. Then he gets that early BKB, and because they just can't kill him, he's able to accelerate to this point where he's just incredibly stacked, and NaVi just don't have an answer for FM running around and jumping at them.
They desperately need the Hex. You notice that Dendi, I really think this should have been his third or fourth item.
FN jumps in, Dream Call onto Artstar and Seneko. Artstar will get the wards out, the Shackle as well. Then BKB comes out from FN and he's ready to just continue fighting Dendi through the Shackle from the sidelines to make big pop. General gets the last up, but General's dead. Shoma will fall in return. It's a 2-for-1 favoring Vega at the moment, and FN still looking incredibly healthy. Starts to chip away at Ditcher. Seneko laying down the tracks of Dendi. Drill trying his best here. FN starting to steal the essences away. Solo and no one playing around it. FN has been hexed up, but they just don't have the damage to kill him. FN looking to move in onto Ditcheron. Shadow Dance comes out. They'll take down the Slardar. FN continuing to just dismantle NaVi. They will finally lose Solo. FN eyes towards Seneko, jumps forward. Hasn't got the vision though, so Seneko will be able to get himself out. FN disengages. But another fight where they just can't kill this Slark, and I mean, the Abaddon and the Venge, NaVi will kill them every time, but the rest of the team, it's just proving to be too slippery.
I think part of the problem, Dendi used 2 Scythe of Ices on Slark, and both got taken out by Dark Pact. Especially that last Scythe of Ice usage he used, I think they just have to ignore the Slark, unless they're just like 5-manning, focusing him down, they get the starting initiation. He's just got to kill like the puck and just leave the Slark for last and hope that they've got the numbers advantage.
This man has got to get himself out of here. He's got backup coming around. We'll see how hard FN wants to try and go in for this kill, and yeah, he can't really commit too heavily for that one, especially with the TPs coming in from NaVi. Mag and FN need to be careful. NaVi hot on the chase. See if they can catch out the Slark. Moving in. Can he get off the initial Hex? Dendi can't quite get it. FN jukes out around the vision points. Backs off. More Dream Call onto General. They've caught the bat out from the side. FN looking to move back in onto this one. Again, backing out. Knows that his death really could be the downfall for the team. He's got to be careful with his plays, but he's been incredibly careful for the 43 minutes. And this game, Bliss, it's so hard to see how this is going to go. It's quite an incredible show from both Dendi and FN. Just look at the KDA. It's just so far ahead of anyone else. And the fact that these two heroes have not died a single time, I can't remember when we last saw a game that was just as insane as this one.
Yeah, when it comes to a playing perspective, it's really hard to say what the right moves are. Like, when you're actually inside the game, it's hectic. Everything has to be done in split seconds. You have to just make decisions. But if Dendi were watching from our perspective, he would see, oh, I needed that Hex so much earlier, because people were just getting away with, you know, he would just phase shift, blink away. The Slark would just run around in circles with out any BKB charges whatsoever. Like, Dendi's survivability or his damage is not the issue right now. It's just they need it locked down sooner. And now you've gotten to the point where, yeah, you've got the Hex, but has it been a little bit too long? Because now FN is 6-slotted, he's eaten moon shards. I don't really know how they're meant to kill him at this point, because Ditya Ra has had 0 item progression. Like, this guy needs an Assault Curse if he's going to do anything in this game. You notice even with the BKB charge, he goes down so quickly to that Slark with Scotty.
And now they're left in a situation where it's actually Vega Squadron holding the advantage for the next Roshan now. It is going to be a late one. Not sure if that's good or bad for NaVi. It gives them more time to, I guess, find the pick off, but it doesn't seem like they're going to get a freebie anytime soon. Vega Squadron just staying as a 5-man. They know they've got a big advantage. They're just going to make sure not to give it up.
Yeah, NaVi can still win. It really just takes one fight for either side right now. And that's the scary reality, because at one point, NaVi were comfortably ahead at over 15,000 gold at just 30 minutes into the game. That's usually going to be the sign where you say, okay, we wait out 1 or 2 Roshans and end the game. I love this Vengeful Spirit. She's 2,000 net worth at 45 minutes into the game, and it doesn't even matter.
Yeah, she's just a swap. Swap, a little bit of Wave of Terror. That's good enough. All you have to do is allow the Slark to be able to live.
Down bottom, Dendi starting to jump in. General's there as well. The swap to get no one out. Raw holding them back. NaVi trying to...
They don't have FN.
Yeah, Mag has probably the refresh blink to get himself out. Of course, he will have that secondary Raw available if NaVi continue to chase. It's not going to be the case. And NaVi just unable to get the catch onto anyone on the side of Vega. As the team just working very nicely to be able to keep each other out of harm's way with the swaps and the shields.
Didn't really seem like much got done, but at least they got the refresher on cooldown from Mag. the side of NaVi. There's something. Still, though, you're looking at the items for NaVi and just there's nothing coming in.
What an odd situation where somebody on your team is 17-0-6, and you're not. It's a really weird game to analyze, because I know a lot of people are gonna say, oh, well, you shouldn't have counted Vega out. I feel pretty comfortable counting Vega out at one point in this game.
Oh yeah, I was the one who originally called, like, I like Vega Squadron's draft a lot better, but you saw the way the first 15 minutes of the game went. I was very wrong in that regard. And NaVi should have been able to close this one out, but Vega Squad, like, I don't think NaVi necessarily did too much wrong. It's just Vega Squadron didn't make any mistakes. And you expect those kind of mistakes to be happen. Like, NaVi have this lineup where it's always able to fight, always able to catch you, but there were so few times where they actually did catch Vega Squadron and were able to punish them for and push objectives.
Roche is going to be back up now. Vega did just smoke
this is so bad.
The jumping in onto Seneko. FN looking to take down the first kill and find it. BKB's being popped, the Abyssal dropped onto Digerard. Now with the check for the high ground onto Solo. That's not going to do too much. FN ripped through Digerard. It's going to be a second kill for the Slug. There's a buyback straight away from Seneko, but Vega moving into the pit. They're going to look to take Roche themselves. They're going to get it at Slug. Oh, in fact, NaVi did end up killing Roche down with the walls, but it doesn't matter because FN gets the Aegis on his Slug. And now, with this, Vega, they could look to try and push down a lane as they get this huge flow of momentum.
Was Dendy in danger? He wasn't, right? He just straight up Bloodstone suicided, and I'm not sure. Was that a misclick? Was he trying to save Digerard?
Was he trying to save Digerard, maybe?
I mean, like, that doesn't make much sense, because 500 HP, 1,000 HP, 2,000 more HP doesn't make the difference. Digerard still dies in that situation.
Now, onto the tier 3s here. Pushing forward. See what NaVi can do to stop this one. FN, this literally unstoppable beast with the Aegis as well. You haven't been able to kill him once for the 48 minutes of the game. Good luck trying to kill him twice. And FN jumping in onto Denzi. Be able to get himself back up to high ground.
Unbelievable. This, Dendy's first death, but it was in vain.
Suicide.
Yeah. There's going to be so much gold coming out of either side. Somebody dies in this game.
It just seems a lot more likely that Dendy's going to be the one to die first.
They can just ignore it. The problem is you can ignore Dendy if you're Vega. Like, you can lose all your supports. Doesn't matter.
Shoot. FN jumping in onto Dendy. Seneko. He's going to be the first FN trying to take down Seneko. They'll find the bounty hunter down for 80 seconds. Showman Max being controlled. Dendy moving in with a shackle. Burst down too. Looks towards Solo, but he's got the ult at the same time. FN's killed off a second on the backlines. No one hexed out. They'll find themselves a third NaVi. They'll look to Solo. They will kill 4 heroes this time. Solo's going to make the work for it, but they'll find it nonetheless. Ultra kill for Dendy on his Timbersaw. But FN, the kill that counts, will escape. But this time, a convincing team fight win for NaVi.
Convincing, yes, NaVi are going to be able to take some control of the map, but it's still a question, like, what are you going to do now? Like, you're not able to, like, immediately go high ground, force some buybacks. It's just not the kind of lineup that NaVi has. It's very, like, mid-game focused and very suffocating in that regard. And they won a great team fight. And one of the big advantages is that they were able to just focus down everyone else but FN. And FN's only effectiveness in that team fight was targeting down the bounty hunter, who isn't really much of a hero right now anyway. So it was like a really good trade-off for them, but it still doesn't allow them to be in a winning position despite such a huge blow.
Yeah.
Like, it should be such an amazing swing, 1 for 4, 45 minutes in, but it's just not.
What needs to happen in these team fights is FN, what he's been doing so successfully is he's been killing Dityara for his team. So then that gets rid of the majority of the disables for NaVi. So you pair up with Mag, get the roar off onto the Slardar, immediately burst him down with the Slark, which has been happening every single fight. Then you can move on to the other heroes. Like, that's how you prioritize targets. You kill the Slardar, then the Shadow Shaman. After that point, Slark is unkillable. You just can't kill him. But this time around, Dityara was finally able to swing his net worth around.
FN. That's a ditch out. Also the BKB at general. Actually getting the lasso. Brings him back. If NaVi can kill this, they've got the crush. The amplifier's down. The Hex as well. Have they got enough to bring down FN? Dendy turning up with Arsenal to take the Aegis. They've got to do it a second time though. And backup from Vega is on its way. And they know that they can't go again. So, yeah. I mean, they've shown us that they can at least take him down. But, of course, the fact he has that Aegis, Vega, not two-faced. And they're actually going to be ready to maybe look for a push there off the back of that down the mid lane.
Yeah, they know that the lasso's on cooldown. But at least NaVi, they confirmed their suspicions that if they 5v1 FN, they can probably win that.
He does bleed.
I mean, I was kind of curious at this point.
Is he actually the Terminator? Is he indestructible?
You just have to find out, man.
Yeah. Another awkward thing, like Dendi as well as FN, completely maxed out. Maybe FN can swap out his Blink Dagger, but Dendi is certainly maxed.
I mean,
what do you go from here? 8,500 gold. He started buying tomes of experiences for his allies. He's gonna buy all the wards.
I mean, where's the Timber's moonshot, you know?
Yeah.
You got a dig on 5 on Timber now.
Yeah. You replace... What do you replace, Shivas? It's risky taking away all that armor, but...
I think you can... I'm not sure. You really want to dig on 5, though, in a game like this.
Yeah. If you had lower Bloodstone charges, you'd just be like, all right, I'll drop the Bloodstone.
Vega, actually going to walk up into the jungle here.
Dendi's first
start off, looking towards Dendi. Not going to follow through on the orb. Now jumping in, FN, he's turned up. He'll start to chomp away at the Timber Saw. And the Timber chains out, turns around with the chakrams. Can Vega continue to chase this? The rest of NaVi kind of scattered around at the moment. Dreamcore's going to be dropped. They really want to try and find this Timber Saw kill. FN starting to chip away. General comes in with the last of the swaps there. Sherma saving his teammate. No one pops the refresh of the Dreamcore again, but already the burst from Dendi takes down 2. Now they look to FN. They need the control, but FN gets the Shadow Dance out. He'll be able to get himself down to the south. Only the 2 dead on Vega at the moment, looking to try and control no one on his puck. Yours is up. And get himself out of it. The rest of Vega have bailed. They'll find the Shackle Arsenal's got the control, and NaVi find themselves a 3rd.
FN, he recognized that fight. He was like, fight's over. Gotta push mid, gotta push bottom, gotta stop NaVi from being able to push out as soon as they finish up that team fight. Because it's, again, the Beastmaster going down so early. No Primal Roar. I mean, he has a refresher, so he's got 2 of them. But he doesn't even get the first off because he just gets popped by Dichira's initiation.
This game is so confusing. I feel like going for the Timber is the worst possible target.
Yes.
Just because you're giving him free armor. Dendi's not going to die in a game like this.
Arstal, he's definitely going to die. FN takes it down, across the BKB, realizing that he just can't allow himself to be controlled. In fact, just goes on to General. Chomp. The Hex, now so is there. They need more control. Have they got it into the Chakram? FN fully low, Hexed up again, but the Shadow Dance comes to the TP. The cross kills and
they got it.
They killed the slot. Dendi, a huge influx of gold. They've finally taken down the raid boss 53 minutes in.
53 minutes in.
They certainly took their time. What is this game?
Vega, those last 2 team fights were, like, as much as FN has done for them, and it's so hard to criticize him, but the decision to go for the Timber Saw, every bit of their success has been them killing Dichira, getting him out of the way, roaring him, just killing him with the Slark. Then they can move on to Dendi. Because this guy has no armor. He goes down very quickly to the Slark. He can't run away because of the Scotty.
Oh, we have. He got your memo.
Yeah, you've got to go for the dig on 5. This is, every Timber Saw knows this. It's not a real 6 slot without this item because you want a finisher. You want an item that you set up your burst with all your spells, then you take somebody out of the fight. But if they had just gone for the Slardar, you look at NaVi, you take away such a large portion of their control plus their team fight, and then you can deal with Dendi 1v5.
Jumping back, but Dendi gets the Hex off. He's moving in fairly deep, but the rest of NaVi not willing to jump in yet. They'd love to force out the buyback from the Slark, but 30 seconds, and we'll be back up.
They really want to hold on to this Slark buyback because if NaVi can force that, that gives them an endgame scenario, but it's just not happening. Solo's actually just on the front line, stopping this push practically by himself with a little bit of spam from the back lines. And I mean, it was such an amazing, the fact that they finally killed FN, but again, it's in a scenario where they don't get anything major. Like, they get this net worth influx where Dichira's going to make some progression in items finally. He's going to probably get that AC we were talking about earlier, so he'll have some armor and still have buyback. But they didn't get a really, really big game-changing win, like forcing a buyback out of the big carry.
I think this is okay overall for NaVi. They've gotten some hold back onto the game, but at the same time, Vega have to stress, you have to look at how the fights are going more than anything. Just replay them in your head and say, every single time we've killed the Slardar, the game's been great. When we go for this 60 armor Timber Saw, when you stack them up, like it's 75% physical damage reduction. You're not, there's no point.
I mean, you get yourself a few S's just stacks.
That's what I thought he was originally doing.
Just to build them up.
Yeah. Then you go for the Slardar, but then in the middle of the fight, you notice he popped his BKB and continued to just go for Dendi. Yeah. And Dendi's just like sitting there. He's like, all right.
And it's also the fact that, like, if FN wants to do that sort of thing, where if he just wants to beat on the Timbersaw for Essence shift charges, that's fine. But the rest of the team can't ever follow that up. The rest of the team shouldn't be focusing Timbersaw either, because naturally, if you start doing that, you start focusing on the tank and seeing if you can kill him, you're going to make positional errors. And that's what's happened both times. That NaVi had managed to get a big initiation with Ditchira hitting a crush and Batrider getting a successful lasso for once instead of just getting it canceled out by a swap or an emphatic shield.
Yeah, I mean, look at the rest of Vega's lineup. They have nothing to deal with this Timbersaw at this point in the game. It's just FN, and so what has to happen is you have to isolate Dendi. You have to get rid of all of his trends.
Yeah.
Then you have to tackle that problem 1v5 together through like math and stuff, but as it stands, he's never going to be the first target. Now you've seceded a lot of control to NaVi. NaVi's going to go for this Roshan pretty comfortably. It's actually going to be a silver edge for Ditchira.
I do like this as well, though, from FN, of course, just trading out the pots, putting them on the turret, getting himself a refresh, you know, having double BKB, double Shadow Dance, double Abyssal Blade. That could be what he needs to be able to self-sustain in the fights and manage to turn them around for Vega.
Yeah, he doesn't need boots. He's got 427 passive move speed and
Absolutely.
Blink Dagger. If he really wants to get somewhere fast, he'll pop the active on the butterfly.
Yeah, this is something that we've seen. We usually don't get to see Solarka this late into the game. The game usually ends by then, but this is every single team, like hyper late game, this is what Solark goes for.
Yeah,
it's
such
a
a good
refresher.
eye.
It's like all the way back to like ESL One New York, where I think like Black was playing it or something, and he picks up the refresher in the do or die scenario, and it works out beautifully.
This is probably the most entertaining game I've seen in this tournament so far, just because.
I'd have to agree.
Yeah.
Is there a reason why Dendi hasn't got the Dagon 5 sent out to him yet? Or why he's not holding it?
Maybe it's still, I think it's a Bloodstone charges. He doesn't want to get rid of Shivas or anything else, so he's like, if I lose the Bloodstone charges, then I swap out the
that's a good idea.
for Dagon. Because when he dies, right, he'll instantly revive, and then he swaps it and boots and travels in.
Okay.
All right, so NaVi are still in a good position. We've said this like for 30 minutes. Maybe this is where they can start getting the ball rolling again.
This is a very interesting progression on this net worth graph. How it kind of leveled out, and then suddenly, you know, NaVi do regain the flow, and it's it's a straight steep hill back down into NaVi's advantage.
I mean, it does mean that like NaVi can always win this game.
Yeah.
Because Slark is so maxed out. Like the game doesn't necessarily get much harder, so NaVi can have that hope. It's all up to the individual decisions of these carries. I mean, the team, obviously, they represent like 40% of the team fight, but it's the carries that bear the burden of this game now.
Yeah. You notice that everybody from the rest of the side of Vega aren't that strong.
Dendi, here comes the ball, Tell immediately jumping into the last double. Can he keep himself alive on still? He will live for the timing. FN finishes off the Shaman, though. He did already get the wards down. Mac with the Rosy General controlling him on the back lines. FN with the Shadow Dance slows all down onto him as well. Coming back to Dendi for the first. No one pulling over. He's swapped out. Shoma saves the puck. Solo, he'll get taken down as well. FN holds the refresh. His Shadow Dance has to get himself out. Buyback from the Abaddon. The bench as well. They can need everything that they can to hold on to this fight. Ditchira and Dendi moving in onto the Vengeful Spirit. Can they kill him for a second time? He's falling like the chakram. They'll do it. Shoma down for a permanent 80 seconds. FN, you can see we can get a lot back onto, but it's General getting the lock, jumps in. Lasso onto no one. They've got the control. They'll bring down the puck. Buying back immediately. FN jumps in, starts to work the way onto Dendi. Dendi team chains away. No one looking to control. No D, but again, the roar onto General. Solo moving in. FN jumps forward. Abyssal Blade jumps on the back. FN finds himself the back kill. BKB bot turns towards Ditchira, punching away, stealing the
down for 2 minutes.
Ditchira falling down, loses the Aegis. FN's been hexed up, but they got the follow control. FN moving back, Bodic Shield protecting as well, but Vega fighting without 2. They're going to be fighting without 3 now. Solos to fall as well. Vega only 2 left alive. Hostile giving Mag a little bit of a tickle into the fountain there, but NaVi may have just done it here. FN's trying his best, jumps in onto Hostile. Hostile gets forced back. They're going to save him the control. The Dagon fall.
got him.
FN is down. GG. NaVi have done it. What a way to start this series. Oh my goodness, boys.
Unbelievable. Truly unbelievable. I mean, both these teams, their backs were against the wall. Like, Vega Squadron for so long were left in this scenario where it's like, oh God, NaVi have such a big advantage. FN, don't die. Don't ever give up. Just play perfectly to last long enough that you can try and carry this game. But then NaVi, consequently, like, they end up going to the bitter late game against a Solark completely 6-slotted and still managed to outplay Vega Squadron in the team fights.
I mean, Blitz words.
I mean, that was pretty unbelievable that game even got to that point. At the end of the day, the reason why I was so negative towards Vega's chances were because no matter what happens, you're still running a single core Slark, essentially. Your puck is not going to come back into this game. And with every progressive fight, there was a little bit of hope built up, but with those last 2 fights, once you realize FN has hit his peak and they messed up those 2 fights, that hero can't do anymore. Like, at that point, your teammates have to carry the burden of the load.
Absolutely incredible stuff already in game 1. And Denti, 28-1-11. Absolutely insane stuff. Don't go anywhere. I'm pretty sure none of you will. Game 2, NaVi versus Vega will be right around the corner. You don't want to miss it.